Swanky two-door rear-drive convertible cars aren't as common as they once were, but a few automakers still build them to appease folks who crave open-air adrenaline. We usually see them parked in front of fancy steakhouses, rolling along Beverly Hills streets, or on Malibu's Pacific Coast Highway. Naturally, they're seldom the only car in the owner's garage, as they were developed to favor thrills over practicality. Time was when the Mercedes-Benz SL class was the segment's benchmark. Its beautiful design, competent handling, and punchy V8 made it a favorite among a certain group of buyers, a recognizable symbol that told the world they'd made it to the top. Although the previous generation was a departure from its traditional style, the 2022 Mercedes-AMG SL63 retains the SL line's powerful V8 ethos and a striking design while adding two vestigial rear seats for more perceived practicality. It may not look like an old SL, but we applaud Mercedes for giving the famous nameplate another run in an era when SUVs and electric cars make the market's biggest waves. Meanwhile, a certain Porsche 911 claims some of the category's deepest roots. The 2022 Porsche 911 Turbo S Cabriolet is markedly different from the SL. It has two fewer cylinders, more power, and its famous rear-engine architecture, plus it's shorter and lighter than the Mercedes-AMG. But as one of the most popular sports cars on the planet, and with the new SL on hand as part of our Performance Vehicle of the Year evaluations, we snatched the opportunity to find out how these two German-engineered machines match up. On the road, we evaluated each car's ride and handling on city streets, freeways, and on Angeles Crest Highway, one of the country's best driving roads. ACH's sweeping curves, tight and although there was a clear difference between their road models, both were quite compelling. We preferred the Porsche's overall behavior on ACH, but we enjoyed the Mercedes for its strong engine and transmission combo. With 577 horsepower and 590 lb-ft of torque, its 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 delivers a fun experience regardless of how hard you push it, and the 9-speed automatic transmission shifts up or down swiftly and on time. It has good power, monster torque, great sound, a good gearbox, good throttle response. As punchy and lively as the Mercedes was, the Porsche felt superior. The 911's 3.7-liter flat-six engine delivers 640 horsepower and the same torque as the SL63, and it easily performed stronger off the line than the AMG because it weighs 424 pounds less and packs 63 more horsepower. As an overall GT car, you can't ask for much better as far as responsiveness and directness. Away from ACH's challenges, the SL shined on city streets and highways with long sweeps. Somewhat oddly in comfort mode on less than smooth roads, the car feels stiffer than you likely expect. Its heavy nose, where 54% of its weight sits, also notably impacted the way it performed on ACH. It handles well through quick and medium-speed corners, but it's easy to tip the chassis balance into understeer for hairpin turns. However, you won't typically notice that when cruising on city streets and highways. The Porsche, on the other hand, is capable of obliterating any type of road. It's a rocket ship of Grand Touring style, with outrageous performance, Morrison said. There are lighter and better handling 911s, but you really only know that if you've driven those other versions. If this Turbo S Cab was your only experience of the lineup, you'd walk away saying it has no weaknesses as a road car. Indeed, whether you cruise with the top up or down, this Porsche feels like as much car as you've ever wanted. As our test numbers show, see chart below, it's on a different performance plane compared to the 2022 Mercedes-AMG SL63. Just like their exterior designs, the Mercedes and Porsche's cabin are drastically different, especially when it comes to the number of hard buttons. Mercedes designers opted to place all virtual buttons, including HVAC controls, at the bottom of the main screen, causing the driver to take their view off the road to adjust fan speed or temperature. The appearance is clean and contemporary, but we found it frustrating. Similarly, the steering wheel's capacitive buttons are easy to activate by mistake when moving your thumbs or hands, and having to swipe a button even for things like adjusting stereo volume is an imprecise exercise. The 2022 Porsche 911 Turbo S Cabriolet is far from perfect, but we didn't complain as much about its ergonomics and interior features. Its lack of cubbies to place your belongings or drinks is its main cause of user frustration, along with the fact the shifter partially blocks the HVAC controls. We were happy to find there are still radio tuning and volume knobs, and you don't have to go through the screen to change the cabin temperature. The SL63's cabin is a nice place to sit. The classic rounded air vents with fancy speakers and tons of carbon fiber finishes make for a plush and modern vibe. The 11.9-inch touchscreen along with the 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster boost the car's technology game, and the quality of the materials is top-notch. The 911 isn't far behind, but between the two cabins we prefer the SL63's. Although the Turbo S Cabriolet also features premium materials, it lacks the fancy screens and clean look. But neither cabin comes off entirely at a level you expect when playing in the $200,000 range. As for driving with the soft tops in place, neither car was particularly quiet, though the 911 was a tad better at minimizing wind noise coming from the side mirrors. On the other hand, the Mercedes-AMG's trunk is more spacious than the 911's front. And similar to the 911, its new rear seats aren't comfortable for adults or even children for very long, but they're a good place to put a suitcase or even a bag of golf clubs. The final decision. The 911 in general is known for being fun and dynamic on challenging roads while also being comfortable as a daily commuter. Our experience in the 2022 Porsche 911 Turbo S Cabriolet continued that tradition. It excelled no matter where we drove it. It's a car that draws smiles whether you're cornering hard on Angeles Crest or cruising on Pacific Coast Highway with the top down. The 2022 Mercedes-AMG SL63 is a stylish and capable grand tourer that will please a lot of buyers, but its dynamic performance isn't as sharp. It's reasonably comfortable for day-to-day activities and is a little more practical than the Porsche given its longer wheelbase and somewhat bigger back seat. But its heavier weight and longer wheelbase reduce its performance and handling. Both cars are competent and approach the segment in different ways, but the 911 Turbo S Cabriolet is the clear winner. Its direct feel, handsome design, and wild cornering abilities pushed it to the top. The AMG SL63 brings back the old SL charm, but its driving limits held it back in this comparison. The Porsche feels more special in that regard, and when you're spending this kind of money on a niche car, well, you deserve to feel special.